Wait, what? Isn't that traffic flow beautiful? Except it's not the way most people of Baltimore experience travel in the city.
If I was having to use the same routes that I used as a child growing up, and I had to use them now that I was driving them to see how difficult it is to get from point A to point B, I wouldn't.
If the bus doesn't come or the bus is late or doesn't show up, then that's less time that they have to spend with their patients. They're late for work, so it definitely affects patient care.
An hour and a half is too long. I have to wake up at 7 o'clock to get to work.
I usually spend up to 2 hours transiting from my place of work back home or vice versa.
I got to get him dressed, and even if I didn't have him, it still takes them sometimes 30 to 45 minutes to get there sometimes. So, you know, if I got to be to work at 8, I'm getting there almost 9 o'clock. I walk into the office and my boss tell me that I've been late and he got to dock my pay.
Now, it's like an hour wait.
I would love for the bus to be fast. It would give me more time with my family.
It's late every day. I take 2 buses, sometimes 3 a day.
I would pay for the extra cost of accurate transportation.
Public transportation is very much a part of the people's struggle for advancement as they seek to improve their quality of public life.
We have some of the highest rates of unemployment and poverty, and part of the problem is that people are not able to access jobs, educational opportunities.
To address these issues, citizens groups and transit advocates want a step to improve transit, the Red Line.
People in West Baltimore will have an opportunity to apply for these minimum wages jobs.
That was a 14-mile east-west connection that had multiple stops all the way through east and west Baltimore, connecting the city to the county. And so those jobs that are available in the outskirts of the city and those right along that corridor would have been serviced.
Except a right-wing Republican had other ideas.
I can confirm today that the Red Line, as currently designed, is not going to be built.
We've been cheated out of the Red Line.
It knocked the breath right out of Baltimore City and out of our future. We lost millions in money that was leveraged with the federal government and that we had worked so hard to put together.
Obviously, we know that we had the direct effect, which was the $2 billion that would have been injected to the Baltimore region's economic system. But then you also have the indirect things such as the buy right supermarket or Aldi's, the people that were going to benefit from that aspect.
Governor Hogan gave $900 million back to the federal government. That's his contempt for the boost that the Red Line would have given low-income African-American and transit-dependent communities in Baltimore.
It's punishment for not voting for the Hogan administration, and it's economic punishment, and it's, in my opinion, racial punishment.
Hogan funneled the Red Line money to the suburbs, leaving a few crumbs for a new substandard Baltimore link, which cuts bus lines and disrupts commutes.
So Baltimore Link, in my northeast neighborhoods, make it much harder for residents to get to work, especially if they're working downtown or catch the MARC to DC.
You're making the elderly people right now have to walk 3 and 4 blocks just to obtain a service that they're going to have to get off and transfer to. It just doesn't make logical sense to me.
The cancellation of the Red Line was part of the crisis in transit that puts the lives of workers and the public at risk.
It's like a feeding ground for the rats. You have exposed wires down there. You have 480 volts or 470 volts up under my members. You have steel plates that they're actually sitting on top of that they can be electrocuted themselves. You have water that's running underneath them along with the wires that are exposed. This is the exact same rat zap that a child thought was a toy. If it can zap and kill a rat, what can it do to a little kid? But if we don't do something about it, somebody's going to die down there.
The ATU and its coalition partners won't let that happen. We're taking to the streets for a safe, reliable, and equitable transit system.
It's got to be a multi-pronged approach. We got to fight for the Red Line, and we got to fight for reforms now.
If you want to improve public transit in Baltimore, you have to start by improving and investing in the existing bus system, because the bus system is the backbone of the transportation system that the working class in Baltimore relies on to get to their jobs. When the governor canceled the Red Line, We had to figure out how to achieve that same kind of reinvestment impact at a much lower cost, and that's what Bus Rapid Transit will do for us. It means you pay before you enter the bus, and then everybody can get on the bus through all the doors at once. And in this way, you can drop that big delay at the bus stop from what currently is 2 to 3 minutes to like 20, 30 seconds. And that makes all difference in the world when you've got a very long bus route like you have in Baltimore.
Access to good quality public transportation is very much a part of the struggle for human rights.
And that struggle together for transit equity has just begun.
We're only going to win this with building a coalition with the public and the community groups that are out there. So we have to build that coalition to help lift us up so that we can get them and force them to help us out and all. Because right now, the people are suffering.